Thank you, Senator Mikowski. Good afternoon. My name is Kerry Bird. I'm the president of the National Indian Education Association. I'm a citizen of the Sisseton Wahpeton Oyate of South Dakota and a descendant of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina. On behalf of the NIA, the students, educators, and tribal nations we serve, I'm here today to share the distressing situation facing our Native youth, a situation which intensifies each day the shutdown continues. Across the country, the shutdown and reductions in force have crept into our classrooms, our early childhood programs, and our homes. What began as a budget dispute in Washington has become a daily crisis in Indian country. When our ancestors signed treaties with the United States, they did so in exchange for certain guarantees. One of these was that our children and our children's children would be educated. This obligation is not a discretionary choice, it is a payment on a debt owed. These promises are what every Native parent holds onto when they send their child to school each morning. It's what keeps a principal in Shiprock, New Mexico, and a Head Start worker in Sisseton, South Dakota, showing up, even when the federal government is not. At the Department of Education, the Office of Impact Aid, which provides $1.6 billion annually to federally impacted school districts, has come to a standstill. With the staff furloughed for over a month and no forward funding, essential payments have not arrived. In South Dakota, Montana, and New Mexico, school districts are burning through reserves just to meet payroll. For some schools, these dollars make up to 50% of the budgets which keep them open. The situation is just as severe at the Administration for Children and Families. Beginning on November 1st, 12 American Indian Alaska Native Head Start grantees serving over 2,500 children will face an immediate funding shortfall. The Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma has already prepared to step in to keep their centers open, but smaller tribes across the country may not have the reserves. They are being forced to decide between keeping their early childhood classrooms open or feeding their communities, as SNAP and nutrition programs also face funding gaps. This is not a choice tribal nations should ever have to make. These impacts show the fragility of the system. Programs that were designed to uphold the federal government's moral and legal promises are now being held hostage. Thankfully, while other agencies have gone dark, BIE offices and schools have stayed open, not because the system is immune to the shutdown, but because the government understands that federal employees within the BIE are unique and must be protected. The administration has designated all BIE staff as accepted or exempted. Teachers are still in classrooms, bus drivers are still on the routes, dormitory staff still are caring for killed students far from home. That is how it should be, and how it would always be if the entire system were to receive advance appropriations. Meanwhile, Native students outside of BIE schools are at unique risk. More than 90% of Native children attend public schools, many in rural or reservation-adjacent districts, which depend on federal programs such as Title VI, Impact Aid, and Johnson O'Malley. Yet, Impact Aid, JOM is not forward funded. During a shutdown, payments to tribal contractors and Indian parent committees are frozen. That means tutoring stops, after-school support is canceled, while communities wait for Washington to act. For many Native families, JOM is one of the only visible signs that the federal government remembers its educational promise to their children. The Indian Programs Advanced Appropriations Act would fix this by ensuring all BIE accounts, not just school operations, are fully insulated from shutdowns. This committee's leadership, combined with the support of appropriators, has already shown how this approach works by protecting IHS. This committee is critical to making that happen for the rest of our programs. We urge this committee to educate your peers and protect tribal serving offices and accounts from any future attempts to play politics with the federal government's solemn obligations. At the Department of Education, the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education has been hollowed out. According to court filings earlier this month, more than 130 positions have been eliminated on top of staff reduction in spring. Of the 282 employees who staffed the office just a year ago, fewer than 100 remain. 29 days ago, the entire Office of Indian Education was furloughed. As of 15 minutes ago, we have official confirmation that 7 of 9 staff in the same office have been terminated. That means no one to process grants, approve budgets, or support tribal education departments and Indian parent committees. If these terminations are allowed to go into full effect, Indian education programs as we know them would be functionally eliminated. But it is not OIE alone that is at risk. The Office of Impact Aid, which supports 537 Indian land school districts alongside millions of military-connected students, has been almost entirely laid off. The United States trust obligations cannot be fulfilled if the federal staff responsible for carrying out it no longer exist. If these workforce reductions continue and if shutdowns are allowed to repeatedly disrupt the flow of education funding, the United States will be in direct violation of its trust and treaty obligations. Education is a promise to our people as part of the guarantees this nation made. It cannot be withheld because of political stalemates or administrative restructuring. Today, I ask you to keep that promise. I ask Congress to reopen the government. I ask you to work with the administration to rescind the rifts that target tribal serving staff and to make sure that Native children will never again be caught in the crossfire of political shutdown. Thank you for your attention to this urgent matter and for your continued commitment to upholding the promises made to tribal nations and Native students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. Mr. Upton, welcome.